海中央全国工商联负责人和无党派人士代表对政府工作报告征求意见稿的意见建议。中共中央政治局常委、国务院副总理韩正出席。李克强说，各民。
Our broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. It can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.channel1. You can find us on Facebook and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on YouTube and Videocast 16A on a 10.512 megahertz vertical polarization azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 mega symbols per second, standard DVB-S2, modulation ACSK, audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Bringing you first the headlines. The immunization of COVID-19 starts on Mosul, Romania. The employees of the Bucharest transport company suspended the protest action and resumed their activity after 5 days of strike. And Foreign Minister Bogdan Aurescu proposed his counterparts to consider the possibility of holding a meeting of the Foreign Affairs Council in Kiev as an expression of the EU's solidarity with Ukraine. Ukraine is perfecting its backup plans for any possible scenario or Russian action. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister for Euro-Atlantic Integration, Olha Stefanishyna, told Radio Romania about the strong wish that the people have for the Euro-Atlantic integration. It is crucial to us to see that the next steps for our country's NATO accession materialize on the occasion of the next summit. If the summit document does not include mentions of Ukraine's accession, this should be the equivalent of what Russia is asking, namely no more NATO enlargement, Ukrainian officials said. The leaders of the US and the several European countries expressed on Monday during a video conference their full support for the territorial integrity of Ukraine and promised that Russia would face very serious consequences in case of an aggression against Ukraine. The Western leaders accuse Moscow of being the source of current tensions and say security and stability in Europe can be solved through negotiations. On Monday, the situation caused by Russia's aggressive actions in the vicinity of Ukraine and the Black Sea region was included on the agenda of the Foreign Affairs Council meeting held in Brussels. The Romanian Foreign Minister Bogdan Aurescu proposed to his counterparts to consider the possibility of holding a meeting of the Foreign Affairs Council in Kiev as an expression of the EU's solidarity with Ukraine. He reiterated the importance of supporting the strengthening of the resilience of Ukraine and other Eastern partners, as well as of increasing the EU's involvement in finding political solutions to the prolonged conflict in the Black Sea region. 114,000 vaccine doses from Pfizer-BioNTech company for the vaccination of children between the age of 5 and 11 arrived in Romania on Tuesday. The vaccination of this age group will begin on Wednesday, January 26. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 incidence rate continues to rise in Romania. The most daily cases are confirmed in the Bucharest area, where the demand for testing is high. In order to respond to this request as soon as possible, the Health Ministry decided to open 28 testing centers. A total of 19,685 new cases of COVID-19 in 24 hours were reported on Tuesday, along with 44 deaths. 650 people are in intensive care. The Bucharest government on Tuesday passed a set of measures to support citizens and the economy, help preserve jobs and ensure competitive economic activity, Prime Minister Nicolae Ciucă announced. The measures will be applied in February and March. Mainly payment €0.16 per kilowatt electricity and €0.06 per kilowatt hour natural gas, irrespective of consumption. Household consumers with up to 500 kilowatt-hour electricity or 200 cubic meters of natural gas will pay 0.14 euros kilowatt-hour electricity and down 0.04 euros for natural gas, taxes included. Luca explained. For non-household consumers, SMEs and the food industry, prices will be capped at 1 leu per kilowatt-hour for electricity and 0.07 euros kilowatt-hour natural gas. The employees of the Bucharest Transport Company suspended the protest action and resumed their activity on Tuesday after 5 days in which the surface public transport in the capital was blocked. They remind you that the strike was declared illegal by the court, but the trade unionists have ignored the court's decision. They were asking for salary increases and the resignation of the company's manager, Adrian Fitz. The letter told Agence News Agency that after 5 days of illegal protest that paralyzed the capital, the employees have eventually understood that they cannot ignore the law and the obligations afterwards officially correct. The General Mayor of Bucharest, Mr. Orban, has said that the talks will continue in order to improve the situation at the Bucharest Transport Company, depending on the available budget. Previously, Mr. Orban had accused that the protests had been politicized. The 2021 Corruption Effectiveness Index published by Transparency International shows that despite official commitments, 131 of the 180 countries surveyed has made no significant progress in fighting corruption in the past 10 years. According to the report, Romania is no exception, and the perception of public sector corruption has been unchanged for a decade. With only 45 points out of 100, Romania remains among the most corrupt countries in the European Union, alongside Hungary and Bulgaria. And that was the news.
Romania's Foreign Minister Bogdan Aurescu has suggested organizing a new Foreign Minister meeting in Kiev. I am Vlad Palcu with a report by Roxana Vasile. Romania's President Klaus Iohannis has summoned the country's Supreme Defense Council on Wednesday. The security of the extended Black Sea region and NATO's eastern flank, as well as measures to develop the response capacity to the new security challenges, rank high on Wednesday's agenda. Romania has northern and southeastern borders with Ukraine and hosts elements of NATO's anti-ballistic missile shield in the Veselu. Moscow has called on NATO to deny Ukraine access to the alliance. Although it denies any plan to invade Ukraine, the Russian Federation has rallied some 100,000 troops and military technology on the Ukrainian border. In response, NATO says every country is free to make its own decisions as it sees fit, without any external interference. Russia further called on NATO to withdraw its military technology from states that joined NATO after 1997, which includes Romania. Despite repeated assurances, including recently in Bucharest as well as the NATO headquarters in Brussels, regarding the strictly defensive purpose of the shield in the Veselu, Moscow remains adamant. In this context, Minister Bogdan Aurescu has reiterated at the meeting EU Foreign Ministers in Brussels that the EU should closely consult with the United States so as to accelerate the preparation of sectorial and individual sanctions against Russia. The sanctions serve both as deterrence and in order to prepare an adequate response in case of a further escalation of tensions. The Romanian official has called for organizing the meeting of the EU in Kiev as an expression of solidarity with Ukraine. Bogdan Aurescu expressed gratitude to President Joe Biden for his announcement regarding the increase of America's military presence on NATO's eastern flank, including in Romania, as the security context continues to deteriorate. The process of consolidating NATO's posture on its eastern flank needs to take place as soon as possible, serving as an important deterrent, Mr. Aurescu pointed out. NATO published a release announcing that member states have deployed troops on standby and have dispatched warships and fighter jets to strengthen the defense in Eastern Europe in the face of Russia's military maneuvers on the Ukrainian border. The Kremlin has referred to what it has called the exacerbation of tensions with Syrian lies. The alliance said had recalled that since the illegal annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014, NATO has consolidated its forces on France lines, in particular with four multinational forces, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. These units are combat ready, NATO warning that an attack on any ally will be considered an attack on the alliance as a whole.
The first 114,000 doses of COVID vaccine for children aged 5 to 11 will be available in Romania as of January the 26th. And Maria Popes shared more details in this commentary written by Corina Krista. Despite of a very good start 13 months ago, the COVID vaccine rollout in Romania gradually went on a strong downward trend, influenced by information without effect, foundations circulating in the public space, and unfortunately supported at times by healthcare staff as well. The authorities' efforts to encourage immunization failed to get Romania above the last but one place in the EU in terms of the vaccination rate. After the initial enthusiasm faded, there were rare increases in the number of people going to vaccination centers, either scared by the large number of infections or of the prospect of being requested a vaccination at the workplace. The original target announced by the authorities was to reach, and according to current figures, over 8 million Romanians have at least one vaccine dose. In the capital, Bucharest, nearly 67% of the people have got at least one dose of vaccine, while 7 other counties have vaccination rates between 50 and 60%, 34 counties between 40 and 50%, and 10 counties have rates between 30 and 40%. The coordinator of the vaccination campaign in Romania, Georgica, announced last week. That was the week when Romania saw over 19,000 infection cases in 24 hours, which is more than on any other day since the start of the pandemic. The situation is not yet stable. It estimates possible 25 to 28,000 cases per day this week. The largest numbers of confirmed cases are in Bucharest and in Sofia, where the demand for testing is also high. In order to meet this demand as soon as possible, the Health Ministry, which estimates the current wave will peak in about time, decided to open 28 testing centers in the hospitals. The feature of the pandemic wave is the large number of infected children from 8 to 9 years. The reason for that may be the change in the rules governing online teaching, which is now only permitted if 75% of the places for COVID patients in hospitals are filled. On the other hand, on January the 26th, Romania is set to begin vaccination for children aged 5 to 11. The dedicated online platform allows for children vaccination appointments to be made as of January 13th, and several thousand requests have already been registered. So that wraps up our newscast on Radio Romania International today. Don't forget to also check out our story online at RADIO.
And Romania. Time now for Hit of the Day on Radio Romania International. You're invited to listen to Friday Mood, the dance club, performed by the up-and-coming pop singer Bogdan Milan.
Woke up in the mood for doing something in my mind. Stop thinking about the good times. You and me, the world in love. Come on, baby, lose your mind. Come on, baby,
the Friday mood. Baby, look at my mind.